Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ Envy, Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. First, let me apologize to Ida for what she walked into this morning.
Yeah, we're going to apologize to Aida Rodriguez for what she walked into. Come on. Yeah, have you heard Ida's comedy?
We have a special guest in the building, Aida Rodriguez.
What's up?
Now,
Good
the first
morning.
thing she heard when she walked in was Charlamagne Googling penis sizes.
It's in context, though.
Right. We wanted to know who had the biggest penis.
Yes.
And how big was it? Mm-hmm. And if it's wide.
Yes, for the girth, yeah.
Because it's pretty long. And
It was no girth, right, Joey? It was just... It didn't detail that, no. Just length, 18.9.
No, it actually says 13. Oh, no, this one says 13.5 and an 8-inch diameter.
that any woman who hears that automatically thinks of Bactrim, Cipro. Those are antibiotics for UTIs.
I was like, what the hell is that?
They're like, that sounds like a UTI.
So that is true? I hear women say that. When Lunel was up here the other day, she was saying that, too. That's why she don't like big penises no more.
I mean, they can disrupt, they can bring bacteria, they can...
You're also supposed to urinate right after sex for women so you don't get a UTI. So that's why you can't just lay there. You got to get up and go to the bathroom, pee, and then...
Well, you know, Charlamagne has been scorned because his now
Shut up.
wife...
Why you telling my story? Shut up.
Cheated on him with a guy with a way bigger penis.
I wrote about it in my first book when she was in college.
So every time...
So, yes, I have PTSD, and, yes, I don't like to hear about big penises.
Okay.
Because I don't have one.
It's crazy because every time a big penis story comes up, his whole mouth drops open so wide.
Starts complaining,
like,
walks out the room.
And I don't believe it. Like somebody called to ask you this morning, 13 and a half inches. Don't believe him.
There's pictures on his Instagram where you can see his print, like multiple pictures. He thinks it's fake.
There's so many things I would like to say right now, but then it would cross me over into the other lane of comedians that I don't belong with. So I'm just not going to say anything.
Well, how are you doing?
I've decided to go in.
Well, welcome. Good morning. How are you doing?
Thank you.
Ida, we've also, first of all, congratulations on your special. I saw it was listed as one of the top specials of 2020, comedy specials of 2021.
Hey.
Yeah,
Fighting
thank
words.
you. I appreciate that. That's history for Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, as people of color, black people. We I said I wasn't coming up here today to be Sojourner Truth. I was like, I'm tired of that. But it is history, and it's such a duality for us. You know, it's like such a struggle that we have to. Everything we do is a political statement just for existing. So, but yeah, I'm happy about that.
How's the success been?
It's been cool. You know, it's funny because one of my friends was making fun of me because I carry the same purse. I don't switch purses. And I was like, I've been getting money with this purse. Not follow me home money. Don't follow me home because you'll be disappointed.
How long have you been carrying that purse?
It's been like a year and a half now. But you know,
the same purse?
Yeah, I don't switch purses. Like, and my friends are always, and I have bags. Like I have them, but I'm not interested in being part of the celebrity culture of people who are trying to show people that they're rich.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially right now because they following people home.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just not my nature. But I'm superstitious, and I'm like, this purse has been doing really well for me. I've been getting money
Can
with
we see
this
the purse? What does it look like?
No, it's a Gucci purse.
Oh, okay.
I
thought it was beat. I was about to see some beat up. There's something that you
No,
had.
It
and
actually
dragged
looks in
around.
pretty good condition.
Yeah, it
that-
was great. It looked like you never wore it.
No, it's just been blessed. It's been blessed, and I don't have to prove anything to anybody. You know, like I just feel like we should be proving stuff to ourselves through Charles Schwab
That's
and
right.
Merrill Lynch, black banks.
You should be
Panama.
happy with what you have. You know
Yeah.
what you have. You see your bank account every day.
I feel
Absolutely.
bad I got you this purse now.
You got me a purse. Is that for real?
It's a Telfar bag, yes. It's actually, they sell out really quick online. It's called corned beef, this particular one.
Oh, that was pretty.
Yeah, black-owned company.
Okay,
So you
okay.
put your purse in that bag. Will it still be all right if you put your purse in that bag?
I really did. I was like,
I look a little
I
loud
told
for
you.
you.
You know what it is? I'm telling you, I've been carrying this purse. My friends are like, you all right? You need something? I'm like, nah, bitch, when we 80, you gonna be in that center. I'm going to be on my ranch.
Have the special
Well, here you go anyway. Maybe you want to use it.
Thank you. No, I love it.
That's beautiful.
I will. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Has the special changed anything in your life? Like, do you feel the difference?
I'll know tonight when we go to Caroline's and see how many people show up. You know what? It has. It has opened up different doors for me. I'm looking at some shows. I got a book deal, so I'm really excited about that. And you know what it did was, as a comedian, it really reminded me of what comedy was about. Because for a minute there, it was really hard to be funny because you started thinking about those of us who care. How am I going to be? Is this politically correct? Can I say this? I started questioning every single thing that was coming out of my mouth. And then I was like, it don't matter what you say. Somebody's going to have a problem with
That's
it.
right.
Even when you think you're being politically correct or you're thinking about people, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you say, I like apples, somebody's going to say, she hates oranges.
That's right.
You know, like, and I was watching, like, when stuff was happening in Puerto Rico, people were in J-Lo's comments saying, why are you not saying anything? And then when I said something, they were like, shut up. Why you saying something? You don't live in Puerto Rico. So I was like, man, fuck these people. I'm going to say whatever I want to say. And at the end of the day, I know who I am. And I'm of the school of Katt Williams. Katt Williams says, if you're smart enough, you know, you don't have to say shitty things about people to be funny. Because I believe Katt Williams is a genius and one of the smartest people and funniest people in comedy. And so I agree. I don't have to make jokes about, you know, people who are struggling or of a different race or a different sexual orientation to win. I know how to be funny without it. Mm-hmm. But I'm committed to, you know, the joke right now. I'm really excited about my new set after the special.
That's what I was going to ask you, too, because you are at Caroline's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Mm-hmm. I'll be there on Saturday for the second show.
Yes.
But now that you have a special out, does that mean you have to, like, not do the jokes that's in the special when you do a new set?
Sometimes, well, there are some people who've been doing the same jokes since I was 12.
Oh, boy.
So I came today to fight. But, yeah, you know.
No, that is true, though. I hate that.
You know, some people do, but you know what it is? It's like when you do a comedy special, it's like your album. And when people go to your concert, they want to hear you sing the songs from the album, not songs they never heard before. But as comedians, it's different because they're like, she was telling the same jokes. I started writing my new set the day that I taped my special. That's when I wrote my first joke because I was like, all right, this is over. Mm-hmm. So I have new material.
I like what you said about, you know, basically you can't be all things to all people. And I think that's what everybody tries to do because they don't want to offend, they don't want to upset nobody. You're not being real. No. You're not being your authentic self then. So it's pointless.
Yeah. You're also meeting people at their misery because some people who are like allegedly talking about how they care about causes, a lot of people making a lot of money off these causes. They don't care nothing about your gay people, black people, whatever. They wear the sticker so you won't beat them up. And we already know that. And a lot of these people don't. It's just how many of us will be triggered everywhere we went if people said something that reminded us of stuff that we went through? We just talked about you and big penises. Yeah. You know, like I was abused, stuff happened to me. You think I'm gonna just shut somebody's concert down because they do something that triggered me? Like,
they're trying though. But
that's self-centeredness, right? Yeah. And at the end of the day, like when you think about all these marches and all the stuff that's happened, what policies and laws have changed? Like that's what that part for me, because we could do everything on Twitter that we want, but did that decrease the number of people getting killed wrongfully by cops? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like.
And guess what? Legislation could change if we put that kind of energy towards those people that are actually hurting us through legislation. I feel like the reason we attack each other so much is because we can actually cause something to happen to each other. We don't feel like we can cause anything to happen to these politicians.
Absolutely, and we're haters, and we got to acknowledge the hater in us. And
does it bother you though, when because you said that people will tweet you, they'll go on your IG? Does that bother you at all?
No, because I put all the I have all of the settings on my social media now, so like certain words.
You can block certain words.
Yeah, and the other thing is,
I do that a long time ago.
Yeah, and I don't read comments like anymore. Like
really?
That's what happened. Like, and it's unfortunate because there are people who show me a lot of love, but now I don't even hear your noise. So while you out there, some people furious with me, and I don't even know you exist.
What about cancel culture? Over the weekend I went to go see Dave Chappelle and Donnell Rawlins. And when they were locking people's phones up, I was like, but I really enjoy it because you can feel free and feel like nobody's sneak taping you. You can use the material. You ever think about doing that? Like, I'm just going to lock up everybody's phones?
But then reporters will still go write an article and quote what you said while they were in there.
Right, it's different than actually hearing it, though.
But that's also fucking up comedians' money, though, because be working our sets, stuff that they haven't done specials on. Yeah, that's true.
There are some people who that don't want people to videotape their stuff because they're working on material, which I understand. And there are some people who don't want them to be videotaped because they don't want to be accountable for anything that they say. And you know, I you know, I ain't a dick writer, so that's why I'm not probably one of the bigger comedians that, you know, I'm not gonna get on here on the Breakfast Club and, you know, ride people's dick and not hold people accountable when they do shitty stuff. And I get angry when I think about it, you know, but I'm just going to say, like, there are a lot of people who have been through a lot of stuff. Black people have been through so much. To get off a cheap joke, making a joke about black people, what do you get out of that? Only the rallying the troops of the other crackers who think that just like you. You know what I'm saying? So I just stay in a zone by myself because I just think that at the end of the day, the great comedians, like if you ask somebody right now, who are your favorite comedians, they still say George Carlin, Richard Pryor. So obviously the greats transcend even generations, right? If you ask people, people still say Michael Jackson's one of the greatest singers. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z is one of the best rappers. So obviously greatness transcends generations. So for me, I'd rather be part of the people who are changing culture than the ones who just want to get off, it's so easy to appear revolutionary because you fucking with people who are, you know, who can't fight back. It's easy to make fun of those people. So for me, that's not brilliance. Brilliance is being able to say stuff when you challenge the powers that be. That makes you brilliant. When you bold enough to fuck with the people who you know can cut the lights off, that's when you bold. But fucking with gay people and trans people and all that, to me, that's not revolutionary. To me, that's just going for the easy target.
Or challenging thought. Like, you know, that's something I feel like Carlin did. Because Carlin would make risky jokes. Well, jokes that would be considered risky now. You know, like, but it would challenge your thought and you think about it. Like, even when he did his N-word joke, you like, well, that's smart and it's funny.
Yeah.
You know?
He also stood up for people because he also was of the school that it's not, the easy joke is not the great joke. And he punched up. He always challenged the establishment. He always challenged capitalism, politics. He was not here for the games. Like, he was really, really, you know, some people don't think he was as funny. And Richard Pryor was also another person when he retired using the N-word from his vocabulary, and it was brilliant.
Richard's so interesting to me because everybody always cites Richard, but nobody really does Richard. And what I mean by that is he was self-deprecating.
Yeah.
He was self-aware.
Yeah.
He was unpacking his own traumas on stage in a real way. I don't see too many comedians doing it like Richard.
That's my hero. Absolutely. Listen, for a black man to be able to say that he performed fellatio on another man for drugs and still be considered one of the greatest, that's gangster, because that's not something that is celebrated and through the history of the stuff that has happened to people of color and black people in this country, we all know where homophobia comes from, because people get, oh my God, they're homophobic, but they don't realize the history and why a homophobia exists in our communities. Puerto Ricans are, you know, we have a serious problem on the island, but it's just interesting to see. But Richard Pryor was one to be able to confront and say, yeah, I did it. And I did it because of this. And anybody who's ever done drugs, and not that I have, but my mom is an addict, will tell you that there are very few limits that they won't pass to go get drugs, you know.
Now, what about all this Joe Rogan stuff, right? And watching everything that's happened on Spotify, and it doesn't feel like he'll get canceled or anything like that, but the usage of the N-word, he's, you know, said he apologized, he was embarrassed about it, and something that he has to address. People come to his defense. Some people are saying they want their music and podcasts off of Spotify because of him. What are your thoughts?
So, you know, I think that, first of all, I don't know Joe Rogan. And I have my own white people. Everybody got their white people, right? My white people don't drop that word, and they don't do it around me. And my white people are very different because they on the front lines to want to fight for what I'm fighting for. What I will say is this, and this is what I've been saying. When people ask me about Dave Chappelle and they ask me about Joe Rogan, because they do in these interviews, I always say, stop asking women of color who get paid less than everybody about the most powerful people in comedy, when the consequences for us speaking out against them are so dire because they are at the top of the food chain and we just trying to eat. And so I think Joey Diaz is my friend, and he's part of that Joe Rogan crew. And I know Joey Diaz's heart, and he shows up for me. And if I call him tomorrow and say, hey, somebody tried something, he'll show up for me. I don't know Joe Rogan, but I can't speak on behalf of Black people and what's offensive to them. And I think that many of us who are Black adjacent, you know, I claim my Blackness. I'm Afro Latina, Afro Indigenous, whatever the people say I could call myself this week. Because they, you know, they tell you who you can and can't be. But I think that we as people of color, like me as a Puerto Rican woman, I have no right to tell Black people what they can and cannot be offended by. And that's where I stand. And so when all these people are showing up saying, oh, he didn't mean it, he don't be offended because he said it this, I have no right to tell Black people about not to be offended about a word that is so connected to so much trauma and so much pain. And I think it would be disrespectful of me to tell Black people, it's cool, he's not like that. I don't think that's okay, so I don't. And I think that Joe Rogan has to deal with the consequences of what he says, just like everybody else does.
That's real. I mean, it's interesting with the N-word, too, though, because it's like you grew up hearing Carlin use it in comedy specials. You grew up seeing Larry David use it on Curb Your Enthusiasm. You know, it's a lot of people. I've heard people use it in like the Young Turks use it in context when they're reporting things. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I don't know.
You know what's funny is that I was having a discussion with this Jewish comedian who dropped it, and I said, hey, you know, I said, don't say that word around me. And we had this whole exchange, and it was here in New York. And I told him, I said, what if somebody was making jokes about the K word, right? And he was like, oh, but the K word isn't funny. And I was like, yeah, the N word isn't funny to some Black people either. Some Black people don't want to hear that word. And at the end of the day, I don't sit around having wet dreams about using that K word. Like, I'm not like, ooh, let me say a word that is so connected to little babies being burned and incinerated. Like, ooh, I can't wait to say that word. I don't know what's the fascination of some white people to want to say that word. I don't understand why they're so pressed by really wanting to say that word. Like, what is it that you get out of it? I don't want to say any other words that are connected to people's pain. It's so many other words.
I wish we never turned it into a term of endearment.
Yeah, but
then it would be no debate.
Well, but the thing is, and I'm with was it Ta-Nehisi Coates. I'm of the school of thought that is the one thing that Black people own that belongs to them only, and that they should be able to use.
I don't know if we own it though.
But you do. That you've taken it, you've redefined it, it's become a term that white people shouldn't have to use because they took it and they gave it a definition of power and said this belongs to us. And so I don't get it. Like, why do you want to say it so bad? Because
Spanish people use it though all the time.
And you know what's interesting?
But some of us are, you know, we Black people. So that the thing is that Black people call us Black people. You know what I'm saying?
But you know, but the derogatory word for Spanish people, Black people can never use that.
Or Hispanic.
Or for Hispanic, Black people can never
What's
use
the word? I really don't know.
Spick? You talking about spick?
Oh.
You know what? I listen. I think that nobody should use the word that's not connected to the history of the word, right? That's my personal opinion. I don't say it on stage. I used to say it on stage when I first started doing stand-up. Nobody said anything to me because of where I come from. People always, and in California, they always say, oh, you Latin? Latin people be like, I thought you was just a light-skinned Black girl. And I was doing stand-up at the Comedy Union, and I saw this older Black man in the audience. Comedians that went up before me who were Black was saying the word, and I saw the look of pain in this older man's face. And that day I retired the word, and I said, I'm never going to say that on stage again. I'm never going to agitate somebody's pain, because even if it's cool for me to say it in some circles, it's not appropriate for me to say it, and I don't think I should be saying it, and I stopped.
Chris Rock defined it for me with the niggas versus Black people thing. So I've never wanted to be that. You know what I mean? And I read a book back in the day called From Niggas to Gods by Akil, and he was always saying we got to get out of that N-word mindset. So between that and the Chris Rock N-word versus black people joke, I've never embraced it as a term of endearment.
Yeah, Chris Rock paid a great price for that because they called that respectability politics and him trying to, blame black people for their own oppression. And I know that was really hard for him.
I didn't take that joke like that, though.
But a lot of people did, and there was a lot of backlash for it. I just think there's so many other words in the vocabulary that you can have in your lexicon to be funny and effective.
Use them.
Yeah, and if you want to connect with black people and you're not a black person, you can connect in other ways. You don't have to, I don't know. I just keep it out your mouth because somebody going to punch you in your mouth.
That's a fact.
No.
The thing I like about you two, Ida, is you're always so cerebral, right? And it's like World War III may have officially started. And it's like nobody cares. Why is that?
Because Kanye's tweets are amazing. Who cares about war? We gonna die anyway. We want to know if Pete and Kanye gonna throw hands. What's gonna happen? That's what I want to know. I want to watch North's TikToks. Look, if we about to blow up, I'm gonna be doing a TikTok dance when it happens. I can't. It's too heavy. We have collective trauma. Look what's happened. We went from COVID. George Floyd, like it's been constant. People are just like, you know what? Let the world blow up. I agree with you. Let's go. They start from scratch, God, because we messed this up really bad.
That's what it feels like, though. Mm-hmm. It feel like something about to happen. Everything gonna get wiped clean, and we gonna have to start over.
Yeah, well, we won't be starting over, but I just hope that
some of us will make it. Some of us will survive.
I hope my jokes do.
Like, I'm glad I got that special off.
Not just that one. I got some new jokes. I think that it's really funny about what's happening right now. And I was talking about Kanye, and somebody told me I couldn't make jokes about Kanye because Kanye has mental illness. And I was like, technically, so do I. I'm technically clinically depressed. But I was just like, we're not going to talk about how Kanye had Julia Fox walking around here looking like the Hamburglar. We're not going to say that out loud. He's gangster. He's dressing everybody that he dates.
He definitely does, doing their makeup.
Just like him.
Yeah, but you know what? I wish I could date Kanye. I know I'm not famous, rich enough, or young enough for him. But if I dated Kanye and I would go to the Met Gala. I would show up in a McDonald's uniform. I would show him. I would fix that ass. I'd be like, here we go, with the hat on and some nuggets in my hand.
Now I saw you were on, well, it was the Wendy Williams show, but Sherri Shepherd was guest hosting, and now we find out that she is going to have her own show.
Yeah.
Wendy, unfortunately for her, is not going to be back on. So are you and Sherri Shepherd cool? Have you reached out to her to say congratulations?
Yeah, we did a show together a couple of weeks ago. When I did Sherri's show, I told her, I say, if anybody's going to get this show, it's going to be you because she's really good at it. And I used to think Sherri Shepherd didn't like me because we had an event some time ago at a comedy show, and then I realized that it was somebody that was trying to cause drama. But she was really cool with me. She was the one who asked to put me on the show to promote my special.
That's great.
Yeah, her and Kim Whitley battled it out because Kim did it one week and she did it one week, and she really showed up for me. Kim Whitley is the one who got me on Kelly Clarkson. I'm doing Drew Barrymore tomorrow. Like, they have really showed up for me.
That's amazing.
And it's all black women. It ain't nobody with the last name Gutierrez helping me. So just let it be clear that but yeah, I'm happy for her. And Wendy just said she's coming back to TV too.
Yeah, she did say that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know in what capacity though?
No, we don't know yet.
Nah, just don't be masturbating.
What?
Jesus Christ.
Did you hear that? They said she was masturbating in front of us. Yeah, but don't do that. I mean, that's a whole different type of TV.
I think if she was able to be on TV, she'd be on.
You know what's funny? Can we be honest? Like, it's so interesting how many people love Wendy Williams now that Sherri Shepherd got her job. It's such a hate culture. Like, everybody loves her now. Those are the people who hated her when she was on the air.
The beauty of Wendy, though, is that people have always loved to hate her. It's like the Howard Stern thing, right? Like, they say that people that hated Howard Stern used to tune in to Howard more than people that actually loved him. Because before there was social media and everything else, people wanted to be pissed off. So even on radio, she had the same impact.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for any person of color that's getting their chips in this business. And Wendy never said anything about me, so I can't be that level of angry with her. But
If you'd have gave her a moment, that's all.
No, but but I wish it would have helped. But I hope that she's well. I hope that she heals, and I hope that she wins. Like, why is it so hard for us to have to see other people win.
Right.
That's where what I'm struggling with right now. It's like, where do you get that from? Why do you want to see another person lose? Why don't you want to say, hey, Envy, what you said the other day, let me talk to you real quick. What you said was incorrect. You shouldn't say that. Instead of, I'm taking Envy down. Like, where do you get that from? Where is our village? Why can't we just be happy for each other when we win? Every time somebody who looks like us wins is an opportunity that is created for somebody else who looks like us to win. That's how capitalism works, you know?
No, it's strange.
And I loved listening to Sherri Shepherd give her whole like emotional, just
Yeah, that was amazing.
yeah. So I did feel
felt
really
it.
happy for her. I think that's great. She deserves it, and she's correct in saying, "I'm not taking Wendy's place. No one could do that. She's creating her own."
Yeah, she wanted her own show, and she deserved to be her own show. She finally found her lane. The View wasn't her lane, but she knows how to deliver entertainment news in a way that's not hateful. You know, she's a very loving person, and she just wants to be funny, and she's really good. Like when I interviewed with her, I was like, damn, she's really good at this job.
Now, when it comes to your next special, because like you said, you have new material ready to go, is that already something that is signed and ready to go?
No, not yet. We'll see. But it looks good. My special is doing well, still performing really well. I'm more concerned with the creative. And this next special is going to be very different than any special I've ever done or anything I've ever done on TV. I'm going to have on some sneakers. Because I twisted my ankle before my last. I had some beautiful shoes that you gifted me, and my ankle was twisted in rehearsal, and people didn't know why I was so stiff on stage.
Probably did that on purpose to hate on you. You got to watch them.
No, they were Tom Ford. They were beautiful.
I was actually shopping, and she was panicking about not having the right shoes. And I was like, well, I'm shopping right now. And I was sending her pictures like, I'll help you, you know, and I picked them up. I'm like a fake stylist on this.
Yeah, she was like, these shoes.
I love shopping for people.
Those shoes were beautiful, and everybody complimented me about it. But I'm working on the creative. You know, I realized in watching my friends ascend to superstardom.
Who we talking about? Tiffany?
Tiffany and Kevin. Kevin Hart is not my friend, but Kevin Hart has blessed me many times. And when I say that, I mean, from one mic stand, it showed that before he became super famous, I was on to Montreal, and he put me on LOL, and his platform promotes me heavily. I did a show for him during the pandemic. Like, he's blessed me tangibles. I just realized that what I want in this business is very different than my friends. Like, I love Tiffany. I'm happy for her, and I think she's doing great, and it's a blessing to see her. You know, I love that she's winning. I have a voicemail on my phone because she's like, you never answer the phone when I call. And I'm like, people never believe that because she's so famous that I'm not like, hey. But I don't want to be, that's not what I want. What I want is power, you know. And I look at people like Tina Fey, who can make other people stars and still maintain her own. You know, Issa Rae has done it. And
Jon Stewart.
Donald Glover. I mean, Donald Glover with Atlanta, everybody on that show is winning. And so for me, like, what I want to do is I'm directing 3 comedy specials for HBO Max in the summer. So, like, for me, it's like not just about being in front of the camera, but being behind, creating other stuff. And so for me, it's like, my next comedy special, I'm going away to go write and just really come back with some bars.
That's why I love what Tiffany did with the Day Ready. I feel like that opened the door for what Chappelle's doing now.
Everybody else is doing it. Yeah. It took a woman. It always takes a black woman to bust the door down, and then everybody walks through it. And Tiffany did it, and you know what?
Because it kind of make people look bad, right? It's like
it did.
It's like,
make
wait
people
a
look
minute,
bad.
You've been around for a while. Why you ain't put somebody in position?
Absolutely. And the other thing is that she. And I've talked to my friends, she made sure we got paid handsomely, where we would never get paid that amount of money for doing a half-hour special. Tiffany, she was like, she said it. She said, y'all gonna get paid like a white man. And I think that's great. I think, dope. You know, she did it first, and she did it selflessly. She made a promise, and she kept her word, and she's a pioneer for that, and I think she should get her props for that, because she now everybody's doing it, you know, and I'm impressed that Dave Chappelle is doing it because he's at the top of the food chain, and so he's looking out for his. And I love Donnell and I love Earthquake. I was there for Earthquake's taping, but Lunel deserves her just due. She's been in the game for a long time, and I'm just happy that she's getting hers.
Oh, he's doing Lunel too?
That's what I was told. Yeah, she's.
Oh,
doing
okay, okay.
That would be amazing.
That'd be
I
incredible.
didn't even know that. Wasn't she just up here?
Yeah, she was up here last week.
I missed it, but
Now you talked about some of your favorites, Richard Pryor, Katt Williams. So who's on your Mount Rushmore?
Comedy.
Comedy Mount Rushmore. Who's on yours?
So Richard Pryor and George Carlin. It's so funny because it's so hard to talk about people in the now because everybody that's hot right now is the greatest that ever did it. Everybody's the GOAT. Like the GOAT was never. I remember when it was a basketball player they had that Don Cheadle played. I forgot who was. That's where that term came from. The GOAT. He was.
I thought no, the GOAT came from Ali. Muhammad Ali.
No, but there's a movie about this basketball player.
Oh, you talking about
who wasn't in the NBA.
Earl the GOAT? No,
Earl the GOAT.
No, not Earl the Pro.
Something Manigault.
Yeah.
Earl the GOAT Manigault. Okay. But anyway, what I was saying is, I think that the greatest people in comedy of our time, we don't know who they are yet, or they won't. They'll be great. And I think Dave Chappelle is great in this moment. But I think George Carlin and Richard Pryor, and I think Chris Rock is revolutionary because Chris Rock challenged us in a way.
That's right.
I hope he comes back and sets it on fire. There's this intelligence about Chris Rock that's not pretentious or presumptuous.
Yes.
He doesn't pee on the audience. Like you join him on the ride.
He's with you, yeah.
But he's just so, it took me such a long time to realize his brilliance. And I'm going to say Katt Williams is one of my favorite people. I love Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr. I think they are exceptional comedians, and I love their brand of humor. But I don't think Katt Williams gets the credit that he deserves because of some of the challenges that he's had. Mm-hmm. He's so smart, and he's so funny, and he talks about things that those of us that come from the hood and many of us that some people haven't had a better education and don't have the information, he swallows it, chews it up, and gives it to us or gives it to the people in a way that they can digest it. And there's a brilliance to that he's one of the smartest comedians, and he's really smart. Like I listen to him talk and I'm like, yo, he is brilliant. And he's undeniably funny. One of the funniest people.
Oh, you know what I wanted to ask you about? Something that just came up with Godfrey, right? And we were talking about this, and I wasn't sure. When you're headlining a show as a comedian, it was a back and forth he had with T.I.
Okay.
Because it was in Atlanta, and T.I. ended up going on after him, and he said he wasn't going to go back in, because he was supposed to.
Because it's disrespectful to the headliner to have somebody go up after them.
So, yeah, I was asking you about the rules.
That's disrespectful. I remember I did a show with Corey Holcomb, and they threw somebody up after him, and he was like, we don't do that. It's an interesting space with T.I. because T.I. is super famous, and he happens to be funny because a lot of people that I know who I respect in comedy say that he's funny, and people want to sell tickets because this is driven by money, but there are rules to this game, and T.I. is not exempt from them, and there's a journey that many of us have taken, and you don't master comedy in 2 weeks. That being said, doesn't mean that he doesn't have the it thing for comedy. But there are rules, and I don't know what happened in that particular instance. I saw that they went live together or something like that. T.I. just did his show yesterday or something, but I didn't watch it. I didn't know that happened. But that's typically that's the way it happens. Is the headliner is supposed to close the show. So to put somebody up after the headliner is technically. And in many spaces would be considered disrespectful.
Now, what if it's the headliner? You're the headliner, say this weekend, and Chris Rock shows up late, and he's like, yo, can I come on?
But Chris Rock is Chris Rock in the world of comedy with me. T.I. is a novice comic in the world of comedy. Regardless of how famous he is, he's new to comedy.
Got you.
Godfrey has his stripes in comedy. And so if T.I. shows up, put T.I. to do a guest spot in front. T.I. can't follow Godfrey.
No, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? And that's not because I don't think T.I. is funny. It's just realistically in comedy, he just doesn't have, the biggest critique that people give T.I., and I haven't seen a full set, is that he doesn't know how to get off stage. He doesn't know how to close a show. And it's not because he's not a good comedian. It's because he's a new comedian, and that's something you learn with experience. Godfrey is a master of comedy. Godfrey is undeniably one of the funniest people in comedy, and he knows how to work that stage. And so it would be disrespectful. And that being said, that's not T.I.'s responsibility. That's the person, whoever is running that show.
Right.
That's the person disrespecting Godfrey, not T.I., because T.I. still new and he doesn't know the rules to this. T.I. I don't know him. He just doesn't have that energy that he's like, let me go shit on this comic. Like, he just doesn't feel like that.
It feels like he's trying hard. He's making sure he's very respectful of the craft.
Yeah, that's
The reason I love comedy so much is because resumes do matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
so
all we done.
those stripes will be respected. If Dave walk in, Chris Rock, and it's something like that, you'll make an exception for them. But you know,
Yeah, I've gotten bumped by everybody in comedy. I've also had to go up.
What do you mean bump? Like,
That bump when they're like, hey, Dave Chappelle walked in, and we just know to sit down. You know what I mean? Like
do you still do your show, or you like, oh, it's a wrap?
No, I've had to go up. Like at the Cellar, I had to go up after Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart was there. I had to go up after. My first spot there was after Hannibal. I had to go up after Louis C.K. before he got canceled. And that was really, he had shut it down. And he did it on purpose to me, too. Like the lady that books the club said, Aida, you going to go up before Louis? And I was like, yes. And he saw me celebrating, and he was like, no, I'm going to go up in front of her. And then I'm going to watch her set. And then he put this pressure on me to follow him, and I had a really good set. And I thought he didn't watch the set. I was like, he an asshole. He said all of that. But he was on the steps listening to my set and waited for me, and then gave me some notes after. But yeah, that's just the rules. And the reason why we have to hold on to that is because comedy doesn't have a union. We're like the blue collar workers of the entertainment business. There's nobody fighting for us. There's no regulation of how we get paid. You get $300 in one place, $3,000 in another place. Somebody just texted me and said, hey, I got a spot for you. I got $60 for you. And I'm like, I can't tell you. No offense. I wish I could find the biggest dick on the planet so you could chomp on that bitch.
$60.
Yeah, because and I had to drive 45 minutes for it, and it's because they think they can get away with it because people disrespect comedians so much.
$60.
Really an insult.
What?
You don't know the
no,
disrespect.
early on, no, I've seen
But
it.
No, this was
this
yesterday.
just now.
Oh my God.
This was
Goodness
yesterday.
Yeah,
gracious.
early on, you'd be happy to just even be able to get on stage, like early on.
But I have some comedians who've been doing stand-up longer than me who resent me for having a special or receiving whatever, and they always trying to sun me. And
Sheesh,
thank
Aida.
God Corey Holcomb is on my side. Corey got my back, and Corey be like, But yeah, they out here.
Goodness gracious. Well, you're performing at Caroline's this weekend, Thursday, 2 shows Friday, 2 shows Saturday. And if you want to get your tickets, you can hit up carolines.com.
I'll be there Saturday night at the 9:45 show with my whole squad.
Yeah. And listen, I want to say this. I'm so thankful for all the people who showed up for me. I slept in an expedition with my 2 kids. I lived in a Best Western. They told me I couldn't do Shaq. They told me I would never get a special. They told me I was too old. They told me I was Latina. They told me. And so I just want to say thank you for all y'all, because y'all saw me before anybody else did. I'm just so thankful and so appreciative for being where I am today. And I just want to remind people, because I know it's hard right now. People are struggling financially. Don't give up on your dreams, and just remember that, it's hard, but it pays off. Don't quit. That's all I will say is don't quit, because I remember how many times I was going to quit, and I'm glad that I didn't. So I just want to say thank you. I know somebody going to cancel me for something I said on the interview, but
Good. At least they're paying attention.
We're glad you didn't quit.
All right. Well, it's Aida Rodriguez. It's The Breakfast Club. Good morning.